Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Drought-Crops Update Weekly for the week ending 10, what is today, 29/2022. And so just a quick video to look at fire condition, drought, soil moisture, harvest, and some things going on out in the agricultural world. So the first stop on the tour is the firm's USA Canada fire map. You can see that the wildfires are still showing out in the west. One thing I'm not sure on this product is how long fires remain up after the fire is out. And for an example, we've been tracking the Moose Fire in Idaho. That is 203.5 square miles, so quite large. It's 95% contained. There are some up here that say 100% contained, but they still are showing on this map. So if we zoom to location, again, there's no spot fires burning around the perimeter as far as this map is concerned. All the surrounding fires are also, from what we can see here, apparently out. There are smaller spot fires, these reds that are going on. Those are small, again, less than 100 acres. If we move over here to the west coast, Cedar Creek is this one in Oregon that's been producing prodigious amounts of smoke. That for the past several weeks, this smoke has been trailing off for the most part out into the Pacific, but some has been coming back to the east and southeast. And so let's see if MODIS is working this week, and sure enough it is, but the looks like the northwest is pretty much under cloud cover right now, so indistinguishable on smoke here. And so we'll pan to the east, come into the Yellowstone area, and look at there, the Yellowstone is covered with snow today. So this happened sometime last week, all up into Montana. So the whole Yellowstone area is covered by snow. The Wind River Range, the Teton Range, the Owl Creeks, the Bighorns. Looks like Casper has snow this morning as well. The Medicine Bows, all over Wyoming is snow. Here in the Black Hills, the northwestern part of the Black Hills, which are called the Bear Lodge Mountains over in Wyoming, they have snow cover. And it looks like most of the northwest part of the Black Hills in South Dakota and Wyoming also are under snow cover, and we are clear here in Rapid City. But that's good to see. It's good to see some snow on the ground, and for one, I hope that it keeps coming. Okay, over to the current drought conditions. This map right here is 10/18, and as I move the slider, we're going to come into the most recent version of this, which is 10/25. Just a few days ago, and not very many changes today. Down here in southern Illinois is the biggest change, where this region down here turns red for extreme drought. And so the exceptional drought is the darker reds. I didn't see much change in that, so pretty much unchanged this week. So we move this through and things remain pretty much the same as they were. There's that one in southern Illinois that comes on. So a little bit drier down there. Some minor shrinkages and growth and some things, but for the most part unchanged in drought conditions over the past week. Okay, looking at Vegscape, this is the NDVI, and the NDVI here, this for some reason I haven't been able to determine, this is the same map as last week, and which ended on 10/9. And so that's the one we ended up on last week, and there has been no new product put out. So don't know why that is at a standstill, so no NDVI update this week. Okay, looking at soil moisture, this is looking at the soil moisture anomaly. Again, the browns, the tans and the browns are drier soils than average, and you can see the percent range over here. So the darkest brown here is 70% less than normal, and then the really light colors to white in there are normal, and then the darker blues are up to 70% greater soil moisture content. So we see again this Arizona, New Mexico right now has up to 70% and more soil moisture than average, and this area through the Great Plains, southern Great Plains, and up into the northern Great Plains remains dry, as does a large portion of the west. Okay, if we look at the soil moisture in terms of the amount of water per cubic centimeter of soil. One of the interesting things is even though this Arizona and New Mexico area has over 70% greater soil moisture than average, they are still down in the 2.3, 2.5 range. So 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, whatever that value might be, cubic centimeters of water per cubic centimeter of soil. So that value is over 70% of normal. We still see this large drought area through western Kansas and most of central and western Nebraska, as well as the Great Valley, the San Joaquin out in California. Okay, the last product we'll look on here is the soil moisture category in terms of the water supply. And so these orange areas are very short. And so here we are sitting up here in the Black Hills on yellow, that is short, and then the surrounding prairies are showing as very short. Now, one other thing on these maps that you have to pay attention to is the Black Hills sit up here in this oval type pattern, a kind of a northwest to southeast trending mountain range, and the northwest portion of the Black Hills is in Wyoming, and that is showing as a surplus of water. And then notice that it stops right on a state line. Not very often does nature operate according to our boundaries, and so that is some type of a data recording anomaly that shows surplus in the northwest part of the hills and short in the rest of the hills in South Dakota. And we can see those kind of boundaries as well. Look at southern Oregon, the California border does not match up with right across the border. And so those border issues here, again in southern Colorado and northwestern New Mexico, they don't line up. So you take these things with a grain of salt, right? They're not gospel, they're indicators on what's out there. Okay, crop, corn crop, we've been following the corn crop through, and kind of good news on this is last week we were sitting at about 45% harvest, now we're at 60, and the slope of the line for harvested is very steep, steeper than it has been since these data sets go back to 2017. And so if it continues on this trend, it is going to surpass and go higher than what it was even last year. All of the corn is matured as of the end of this previous week, and it is a full-blown harvest right now. And one of the reasons why this is so steep in here, more than likely, is that the weather is really nice. So there hasn't been a lot of weather delay out in the cropping areas. Okay, a look at GFS model to look at climate. And this is in the middle of a model run, so it's only going out right now 126 hours. Just 10 minutes ago it was only at 96, so the new images are coming on, but we'll look at what that looks like. And again, I'm focusing on the area where I'm at here, western South Dakota, and it does not look like that's going to have any change in pattern. No moisture coming through a high, going down to the south of us, some snow coming into northern Idaho, and by the time we get out here to November 3rd, November 4th, it looks like there's possibility of some snow moving into the area. Wyoming again is getting inundated. Again, the mountains are already snowed on there, and here the northern Black Hills look like they're getting snow again. But we want this snow to push down to the southeast here and get us where I'm at here in Rapid City and the southern hills covered with snow as well. All right, so that's a quick view of things that are happening out in the world in terms of climate and how that affects agricultural conditions, which affects us, right? Because we eat that food that comes off the fields. And so hope you like this series of videos. Give this a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I hope to post again next week. So until then, see ya.